Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Katie Halper Show. This is a special Katie Halper Show. And I am with Gareth Reynolds of comedy fame and of the Dollop fame. And we are so excited to be joined by you guys. We're going to be watching the State of the Union address. Then at 10 p.m., we're going to do a reaction to it. And it's going to be with us and Daniel Bessner, the historian Daniel Bessner, Code Pink's Medea Benjamin, and Roots Action's Norman Solomon, and Struggle Sessions, Jack Allison. But before we get to the State of the Union, here are the drinking games for tonight. So take a sip whenever you hear defending democracy, whenever there's a standing ovation for Ukraine proxy war, whenever Biden marches out gun violence victim, whenever McCarthy has a Pelosi moment behind Biden, whenever Kamala Harris laughs too big, whenever every China or Russia, every other one, or else we'll be drunk. And then chug if Zelensky has a surprise message.
I'm excited to be here tonight.
Oh, that's good.
Me and I have worked on it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. We're not going to, I mean, you could pretend to be him just to get people
Just get
drunk.
hammered?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Joe, I don't mean to interrupt now, Joe.
And this is the first time Gareth's been on the show. So very excited. And make sure you listen to Gareth's special. We'll watch it.
Yes.
England, Weed, and the Rest.
Yeah. You can go to GarethReynolds.com and there's a special link.
Yeah.
And you go watch it. Otherwise, we don't get thanks.
Gary, someone says, yeah, it is Gary.
Wrong, Mike, buddy boy, Jose.
Jose is your cat or your dog?
My cat, but he's got dog-like qualities.
Oh, okay. That's why I was.
He's a doggish cat.
Okay, got it. I have a cat. My parents have a cattish dog.
Okay. We should do a body swatch movie or whatever. This is the first time Gareth has been on the show.
Yeah.
Are you nervous, Katie, for Joe?
Not really.
You feel good?
I'm feeling okay. What about you?
Hard to straighten the way that these things work.
Reversed.
Yeah, it is. So
yeah, I see you're looking at yourself a lot.
Let's get it on proper.
We should change it so it has your name on it too.
No, please.
Wow.
I think it'll be a drunk night if we want it to be. I expect it to. I expect a positive speech. I don't expect a lot of reality.
Right. Positive spin.
I expect a lot of positive spin. Things are going well.
That's right, right?
Everyone's happy. Yeah, that's right on.
Yeah.
Right. What Mike HW said. And you like Cricket Hat better?
And by the way, make sure that you like the stream. Yeah, it's going to be a great time.
There you go.
All right. And hi, Brad. Hi, Tyler. Hi, everyone tuning in.
Oh, he's entering.
He's entering. Should we turn it on? Let's go to the screen.
Yeah, this is what we do.
Oh, that's Kamala's. That's the that's the second man.
That's Mr. Vice President.
Right, Mr. Vice President. Is there any audio here, Brad? Oh, now we got it. Yeah. Let's close all under other windows. I mean, he looks. Oh my God, he's so unintentionally funny.
Yeah, I will already say, just for the bullshit walking in, he's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
He seems alive. It's like the way the hair is insane.
I know. Like, why, if you're going to grow it that long, you do the comb over? Why are you going to make a space in the center?
They're doing a sort of lollipop guild whirly do.
Yeah. He's having it both ways.
Yeah. Oh, and there's Chuck Schumer.
Oh, God.
Looking for some more spine.
Yeah. Looking tan.
Yeah.
Who's that woman? I don't know who that is.
She's in the way.
Yeah, she's really, definitely. There's Hakeem back there. There's Scalise.
Oh, God. It's just the real who's who of people I really hate. Yeah, it's a ghouls who.
Oh, my God. Who's that woman?
I don't know.
I don't know
who. That's, what is her name? Yeah, the one.
That's her.
This guy's like, I'm the only one older than you, Joe.
Yeah. Looks like a boss from behind.
Look, I mean, just the diversity in this room is just off the charts. It's
shades of cream and
nice to see different levels of white balding hair.
Okay, then we got Roberts.
Our man. You were saying before this that you said that you don't care for party or any of that, but you like Roberts.
I was saying, yeah, I don't like the parties, but I'm a Robertsonian. There's Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh, who really is it shows you that anyone can get there, which is awesome.
Yeah.
We're all. Oh, and there's Coney Barrett, who
Yeah.
used to shower with her preacher.
Is that true?
Something like that.
Yeah.
So
she
that's cool.
has a Long Island accent because apparently that is a New Orleans thing. And I tweeted about that jokingly, that it was cultural appropriation, and people were so upset. They were like, fun. It was really great. Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. It's fun. Look at Nancy and Magenta, Steny Hoyer.
Yeah. It must be nice for Nancy to be able to actually play the drinking game along with us tonight for the first time.
Oh, yeah. Nancy, if you're watching.
And right now they're probably getting congratulated on defeating the Chinese balloon.
Right.
Which,
balloon.
Yeah, which almost really, I mean, I believe in the thing we were reading before, we're going to hear about it.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. It's all the important issues will be covered.
Yeah.
Including the balloon.
The
weather balloon, probably.
The pop.
Yep. Pop made it pop.
Corn pop.
Corn pop. I corn popped it.
Look at McCarthy. Look at that. Him. That was kind of Pelosi-ish.
Yeah,
I'm going to drink for that.
Yeah, right. Sorry, I forgot. I've been playing the drinking game all day.
Yeah. What do you think that suit? What color would you call that suit, Gareth?
I think I'd call that a dash of burgundy.
Burgundy. That's good. Oh my God, look at him.
Wow, what a nightmare.
All right, we're getting the volume up.
Oh, it's on vinyl this year?
Hello.
It's like doing a sound check.
It's already.
Thank you. Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor to present to you the President of the United States.
Sound like he said stink honor at first.
Well, he's been Botoxed.
Yeah.
Anne Heche there. Look at the.
You know she died.
Oh God, I meant Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
That was rude. I messed up.
That's okay.
We'll fix it in post.
Yeah, we'll fix it in post. Yeah. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah.
Thank you. Please.
Oh. Whoops, I shouldn't drink.
No.
Yeah.
You're right. It's gonna be hard to not drink.
Mr. Speaker, Madam Vice President, our First Lady and Second Gentleman, good to see you guys up there.
Apparently someone kissed Jill Biden on the mouth and I missed it. And there's Bono.
What?
Sitting next to a gangster, it looks like.
What
a mobster.
Is happening?
Yeah. I still haven't found. What is she? She was just scratching her hand.
It's fine.
What was that little?
It's the cash itch.
By the way, Chief Justice, I may need a court order. She gets to go to the game tomorrow, next week. I have to stay home.
What?
Got to work something out here.
Sorry,
Members of the Cabinet, leaders of our military, Chief Justice, Associate Justice, and retired Justice of the Supreme Court, and to you, my fellow Americans. I start tonight by congratulating the 118th Congress and the new Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy.
He's still so relieved that he passed.
I know. He's like, stop calling me that. Don't jinx it.
Yeah.
So much Botox.
Yeah. He actually has a kind of sweet smile, which is really weird.
Yeah, he's like a congressional Leno.
Yeah.
I meant Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
Speaker, I don't want to ruin your reputation, but I look forward to working with you. I want to congratulate the new leader of the House Democrats, the first African-American minority leader in history.
Minority leader.
He's got to be careful. He wanted to say that.
A lot of covering the heart tonight.
Well, Hakeem Jeffries proved he knows the alphabet, which I found.
Oh, that was amazing.
Touching.
That was so bad. I'll never forgive him for that.
No.
He won in spite of the fact I campaighed for him. Congratulations.
Second weird self-deprecating joke.
A lot of riffing. A lot of bad riffing.
Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
Where are you, Mitch?
Oh, God.
Mitchie.
Stop.
Where is it? Oh, look, he won't get up for him. That's a bold move.
He can't get up. Look at him.
His shell is in the way.
Chuck Schumer, another.
He really does look like a turtle, right?
Another term as Senate Minority Leader. I think you. This time you have a slightly bigger majority, Mr. Leader. You're the majority leader. About that much bigger? Yeah. Well, I tell you what. I want to give special recognition to someone who I think is going to be considered the greatest speaker in the history of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi.
Katie, I just haven't fully watched one of these in a while.
You're in for a treat.
It's a lot
you're gonna
of
laugh. You're gonna cry.
The start is brutal.
It really is, especially tonight. It's not as smooth.
No, he's riffing.
The story of America is a story of progress and resilience.
Of
always moving forward, of never ever giving up.
What?
It's a story unique among all nations. We're the only country that has emerged from every crisis we've ever entered stronger than we got into it.
Really?
Look, folks, that's what we're doing again. 2 years
enough.
ago, the economy was reeling.
You just keep bringing that one up.
Here tonight, after we've created, with the help of many people in this room, 12 million new jobs, more jobs created in 2 years than any president's created in 4 years, because of you all, because of the American people.
If this were a more robust connection to this mic, I'd stand up every time they stood
up.
Just because to get in my stance for my Apple Watch.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah.
COVID had shut down. Our businesses were closed. Our schools were robbed of so much. And today, COVID no longer controls our lives. And 2 years ago, democracy faced its greatest threats in the Civil War. And today, though bruised, our democracy remains unbowed and unbroken.
The greatest threat to the Civil War? I think he messed that up.
He did, because what he just said was it was the biggest threat ever to us going to Civil War, but we had one.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
So,
as we gather here tonight, we're writing the next chapter in the great American story, a story of progress and resilience. When world leaders ask me to define America, and they do, believe it or not, I can define it in one word, and I mean this.
Mr. President, please define your country.
How do you define
We don't think
America?
anything is beyond our capacity. Everything is a possibility. You know, we're often told that Democrats and Republicans can't work together. But over the past 2 years, we've proved the cynics and naysayers wrong. Yes, we disagreed plenty. And yes, there were times when Democrats went alone. But time and again, Democrats and Republicans came together.
He looks like he's
came together to defend a stronger and
Kamala
safer
looks like she's
Europe.
gonna fall out of the seat.
Came together to pass one in a generation infrastructure law, building bridges connecting our nation and our people.
He's so nervous.
We came together to pass the most significant law ever, helping victims exposed to toxic burn pits. And in fact,
that was a good one. That was a good one.
I mean,
although it didn't help the people there, it was only for our soldiers.
Yeah, but still, it's a win.
Yeah.
I like that guy. He won't do the full clap. He won't.
Oh my God! Look at Ayanna. She's so much taller than Ricky Torres.
I signed over 300.
I feel like she should have coordinated sitting next to him in those
legislation since becoming president. From reauthorizing the Violence Against Women Act, the Electoral Count Reform Act.
I could not understand that.
There's a lot of slurring.
The right to marry the person you love. Republican friends, we can work together the last Congress. There's no reason we can't work together and find consensus on important things in this Congress as well.
That's right.
We're coming together for the Privatization Act and the Privatization Act.
Folks,
that yellow.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You all are as formed as I am, but I think the people send us a clear message.
Here,
for the sake of fighting, power for the sake of power, conflict for the sake of conflict gets us nowhere.
Does AOC date that fat ginger? And no, I'm single.
And I know it's many of yours. To restore the soul of
He's
this
not
nation,
fat, that ginger. You're not either, but neither is her ginger.
America's
I didn't like the way
class,
the order you went on
the
that.
country.
No, I mean, you're obviously not fat because people can
For
see
decades,
you.
the middle class has been hollowed out in more than, and not one administration but for a long time. Too many good paying manufacturing jobs move overseas. Factories closed down. Once thriving cities and towns that many of you represent became shadows of what they used to be.
Like
along the way, something else we lost.
Angry uncle.
Pride, our sense of self-worth.
We did?
I ran for president to fundamentally change things, to make sure our economy works for everyone, so we can all feel that pride in what we do. To build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down. Because when the middle class does well, the poor have a ladder up, and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well.
I love preserved wealthy. Look, I don't Support the man. He is.
Oh, my God.
B-Dog.
Uncle Bernie. I'm a Bernie. The foggy glasses because he's
I'm
wearing a
fogging-
mask.
I fogged up my glasses.
But my dad used to
Look,
say, Joey,
look,
a
hope it's
job's
not
about
something
a
to
lot
sneeze
more
at.
than a paycheck. He really would say this. It's about a lot more than a paycheck.
Oh, you got to be more.
It's about your
Oh,
dignity. It's about respect. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay, and mean it. Well, folks, so let's look at the results. We're not finished yet by any stretch of the imagination, but unemployment rate is at 3.4%, a 50-year low. A near record. A near record unemployment.
He looks English.
Yeah. Look at that
Ooh,
dress.
Stop it. Fly away.
For Black and Hispanic workers. We've already
I wanted to
created,
mention the interracial commercials. Have you ever
800,000
heard us do
good
that?
paying
No.
manufacturing jobs.
He brags
The
about that.
fastest growth in 40 years.
You got a black guy and a white
Where
woman
is it
finally
written?
for tie.
Where is it written that America can't lead the world in manufacturing? I don't know where that's written. For too many decades, we imported projects and exported jobs. Now, thanks to what you've all done, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs. Folks, inflation
Just like
Inflation has been a
platitude
global
after
problem
platitude.
Yeah.
because the pandemic disrupted our supply
Disrupted
chains, and Putin's unfair and brutal war in Ukraine disrupted energy supplies as well as food supplies, blocking all that grain in Ukraine. But we're
I call it
better
the
positioned than any
Ukraine.
country on earth right now. But we have more
Janet
to
Yellen.
do.
Yeah.
But here at home,
Lincoln.
inflation
what's
is
up
coming
with that
down.
weird Zoom?
It's funny
Here at
that
home,
they're
gas
yelling
prices
and
down
blinking.
Oh, that's
$1.50
true.
from the
Yellen and
peak.
blinking.
Yelling
Food
and
inflation is
blinking and
coming down,
yelling.
not fast enough, but coming down. Inflation has fallen every month for the last 6 months. While take-home pay has gone up.
He's doing that.
Yeah.
Additionally, over the last 2 years, a record 10 million Americans applied to start new businesses. 10 million. And by the way,
I wonder what the thing that's going to get McCarthy to
every
stand up
time,
is. You know what I mean?
Free Botox.
every time someone starts a small business is an
Yeah.
act of hope.
She's
And
probably
Madam Vice
blocking
President, I
people
want to
from
thank
seeing.
you for leading
Those
that
shoulder
effort to
pads,
ensure that
great.
small
Yeah.
businesses have access to capital and the historic laws we enacted that are
Sure.
going to just come into being. Standing here last year, I shared with you a story
I shat my
of
pants.
American genius and possibilities. Semiconductors, small computer chips the size of a fingerprint
Oh,
that
God.
power everything.
Oh,
From
that
cell
guy.
phones,
Yeah.
I said
automobiles,
the
and
guy in
so much
front.
more.
Yeah.
I forget his name. I
These
said he
chips
looked like a
were
fetus once
invented
at
in America.
Huffington Post.
Let's get that straight.
And they
They were
tried to get
invented
me
in
to
America.
retract it.
But
We used
he's.
to make
He's a Republican. I forget
40%
Yeah,
who
but
he
is he
World
still
chips.
in?
I know.
I thought he was
In the last several
out.
decades, we lost our edge. We're down to only producing 10%. We all saw what happened during the pandemic when chip factories shut down overseas.
Frito-Lay.
Today's automobiles need 3,000
Anyway.
chips each of
Freedom
those
Lay.
automobiles. But American
Right, that was
automobiles
J.D.
couldn't make
Vance,
enough
but below
cars
him was
because
a
there weren't enough
redhead who-
chips.
The guy is it like
Car
Trey
prices went
something or
up.
other?
Yeah.
People got laid off.
No, I think you're thinking
So
of
did
another guy
everything
who he
from
kind of looks
refrigerators
like
to cell
Okay.
phones.
Trey
We can
Gowdy or
never let
something.
that
Yeah,
happen again.
that is who I'm thinking
That's
of.
why. That's why we came together to pass the
I know.
bipartisan Chips and Science
Oh,
Act.
over me.
Yes. Yes. That guy's on his phone.
Oh yeah, true.
Oh,
Busted.
good Lord. Oh, my God.
Folks,
Ugh.
Schumer.
I know I've been criticized for saying this, but
Okay,
I'm not changing
Schumer.
my view. We're going to make sure the supply chain for America begins in America. The supply chain begins
He said
in America.
I'm not changing my view. Is that what he said?
Who?
We've already created
Biden.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, James Langford, senator from Oklahoma. Is that his name?
We've
James
already
Langford.
no, that's not who I was thinking of. You're right. I was thinking
Yeah, I
of
know
who
you're
you
the
said.
Trey guy.
new
Yeah.
manufacturing jobs without this law, before the law kicks in. With this new law, we're going to create hundreds of thousands of new jobs across the country. And I mean all across the country, throughout not just the coast, but through the middle of the country as well.
Okay.
That's going to come from companies that have announced more than $300 billion in investment in American
Billion.
manufacturing.
You know what's funny?
over
The way he
next
says
2
40.
years.
He has
Outside of
that
Columbus, Ohio,
cartoonish
Yeah.
whistle
building a
thing where
semiconductor
or
factory
something like
on
that.
1,000
Kind of
acres.
Irish sounding.
Yeah, sort of.
Literally a field of dreams.
A field of
It's gonna
dreams.
create
If we build it,
10,000
they will
jobs,
come.
that one investment. 7,000 construction jobs.
Look how red
3,000
McCarthy's
jobs
face is.
in
Yeah.
those factories once
He's
they're
becoming the
finished.
color of
They call them
Kamala's suit.
factories.
Yeah.
Jobs paying an average of $130,000 a year.
Yeah,
And many
right.
do not require a college degree.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jobs.
Look at Cruz.
Oh boy.
Because we
Good-
work
oh,
together
good
to
Lord.
get jobs,
He's
people don't have
Botoxy
to
too,
leave
I
home
think.
To search for opportunities.
Nothing against it.
It's just getting started. Think about the new homes, the small businesses, the medium-sized businesses. So much more that's going to be needed to support those 3,000 permanent jobs and the factories that are going to be built. Talk to mayors and governors, Democrats and Republicans, and they'll tell you what this means for their communities. We're seeing these field of dreams transform to the heartland.
He's really going the
I
field
know.
of
To
dreams
maintain
thing.
the strongest economy in the world, we need the best infrastructure in the world.
As long as Manchin approves.
Right.
Well, there we are. Hopefully, I
Mayo-
make my
Mayo
flight
Pete.
tomorrow.
There's Jody Ernst right behind him.
Oh yeah, right.
The one who brags
We
about
used to be
castrating
number one in the
piglets.
world in infrastructure. We've sunk
Remember
to
that?
13th in the
Literally
world.
campaigned around
The
that.
United
Mhm. It was a
States
big
of
talking
America,
point. Oh, here we go. He's mad.
13th
Here we
in
go.
the world in infrastructure, modern infrastructure. But now we're coming back because we came together and passed the bipartisan infrastructure law, the largest investment in infrastructure since President Eisenhower's interstate highway system.
Eisenhower. I mean, like there are things. It's just like
Folks,
it really could. There's just I can't. There's not enough time.
already we've funded over 20,000 projects, including major airports from Boston to Atlanta to Portland. Projects that are going to put thousands of people to work rebuilding our highways, our bridges, our railroads, our tunnels, ports, airports, clean water,
What's in front of
high-speed internet. all
McCarthy?
across
Yeah, it's
America.
weird.
Urban,
I've been looking at
rural,
that.
tribal. And folks, we're just getting started. We're just getting started.
Kamala, she actually looks happy. Like she smiled for real.
And I mean it sincerely.
Uh-oh.
I want to thank my Republican
Wow,
friends who voted for the
Jesus.
law, and my Republican friends who voted against it as well. But I still get asked to fund the projects in those districts as well. But don't worry, I promised I'd be a president for all Americans. We'll fund these projects, and I'll see you at the groundbreaking.
I don't think Kevin McCarthy is getting Botox for migraines. To push back on the comment.
Yeah. There's someone comment on that.
Mm-hmm. You can't say much stuff, you know.
This law will further unite all of America. Projects like Brent Spence Bridge in Kentucky over the Ohio River.
Ooh, gossiping.
Built 60
Doesn't know she's
years
on
ago.
camera.
Badly needed repairs. One of the
Spilling
nation's
the
most
tea.
congested freight routes, carrying $2 billion worth of freight every single day across the Ohio River. And folks, we've been talking about fixing it for decades, but we're really finally going to get it done. I went there last month with
Where did he go?
Democrats and Republicans and from both states to deliver a commitment of $1.6 billion for this project.
It really
While
is
I was
just
there,
endless.
I met a young woman named Sarah,
Here we
who's
go.
here tonight. I don't know where Sarah is. Is she up in the
She's
box?
giving the
I don't
speech
know.
after this one.
Sarah, how
Oh,
are you?
there's Sarah.
Hi.
Well, Sarah, for 30 years, I learned, she told me she'd been a proud member of the Iron Workers Local 44, known as,
Off of that comment, I mean, it is amazing to start talking about
No
what he's
less
doing
than
for
cowboys in the sky.
trains and,
Right.
I mean,
Yes. Given
folks
the
who built-
yes, the fact that he
Right.
completely
built Cincinnati skyline.
jumped in to stop the
Sarah
strike.
said she can't
Yeah.
wait to be 10 stories above the Ohio River building that new bridge. God
better
bless her.
than 10
God
stories
bless her.
below.
That's pride.
God
And that's what we're also building. We're building back pride.
Mhm.
Look, we're also replacing poisonous lead pipes that go into 10 million homes in America, 400,000 school and child care centers. So every child in America can drink the water instead of having permanent damage to their brain.
Oh, I thought.
Jesus.
Remember, Obama said it wasn't that bad. He probably ate
Yeah.
some
Sure.
But we prosecuted the
lead.
governor of,
Yeah. When?
Michigan, yeah.
Where he, remember Obama literally
yeah.
drank the water there?
oh yeah,
That every
Well,
community,
drank
I
the
know.
water. Yeah.
every community in America
I'll
has
do an
access to
Obama
affordable
sip of the
high-speed
water.
internet. No parent should have to drive by McDonald's
wow.
parking lot to help
No.
them do their homework online with their kids, which thousands were doing across the country. And when we do these projects, And again, I get criticized for this, but I make no excuses for it. We're going to buy American. We're going to buy American.
Social Security on the table.
And it's totally consistent with international trade rules. Buy America has been the law since 1933, but for too long, past administrations, Democrat and Republican, have fought to get around it. Not anymore. Tonight, I'm announcing new standards require all construction materials used in federal infrastructure projects to be made in America.
We should drink whenever he slurs.
Oh, good Lord. We'll be slurring like him.
Made in America.
That's what's his name?
Merrick Garland, yeah. Oh, good Lord.
What's his name? Ron Wyden?
Is it?
I think so.
Very old.
Fiber optic cable. And on my watch, American roads, bridges, American highways are going to be made with American products as well. Folks, my
I think this is
economic
from
plan is
Tommy
about
Boy.
investing in places and people that have been forgotten.
Great movie.
So many of you listen to you tonight.
Listening tonight.
I know you
Who's he
feel it.
looking at?
Jesus,
So many of
he's
you
up
feel
there.
like you've just simply been forgotten.
My man.
Amid the economic upheaval of the past 4
Epcot
decades,
Center.
too many people have been left behind and treated like they're invisible.
Ugh.
Maybe that's you watching from home. Remember the jobs that went away. You remember them, don't you?
Who are you talking
Folks
to,
at home
sir?
remember them. You wonder whether the path even exists anymore for your children to get ahead without having to move away. Well, that's why I get that. That's why
No more
we're
college.
building an economy where no one's left behind. Jobs are coming back. Pride is coming back because choices we made in the last several years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is, in my view, a blue-collar blueprint to rebuild America.
How dare you,
Make a
Blue
sir?
real
collar,
difference
blue
in your
paint?
lives at home.
Blue Pinto.
For example,
Pinto?
too many of you lay in bed at night like my dad did, staring at the ceiling, wondering what in God's name
Why did I put that
happens
mirror up
if,
there?
if your spouse gets cancer
Okay.
or your child gets deadly ill or something happens to you. What are
Deadly
you
ill.
going
They
to
had
have
to
money
show
to
him at
pay for
deadly
those
ill.
medical bills?
Yeah,
Or
right.
you're going to
They're
have
like
to sell the
paying
house or try to get a second mortgage on it. I get it. I get it. With the Inflation Reduction Act that I signed into law, we're taking on powerful interests to bring healthcare costs down so you can sleep better at night
Cross town.
with more security. You know, we pay
He
more
does
for
look
prescription
so bad.
drugs than
Oh,
any
my Lord.
nation in the world. Let me say it again. We pay more for prescription drugs than any major nation on earth.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Enough.
For example,
No more.
1 in 10 Americans has diabetes. Many of you in this chamber do. And in the
Fat
audience.
fucks.
You're out very fat.
But every day, millions
Everyone, I
need
said,
insulin to control
so
their
you eat French
diabetes
toast every day.
so they can literally stay
Holly.
alive. Insulin's been around for over
Oh, it
100
looks like
years.
he got stuck in an elevator.
The guy
Yeah.
who invented it didn't even patent it because he wanted it to be available for everyone.
What?
It cost the drug companies roughly $10 a vial to make that insulin.
Joe Manchin's daughter.
Packaging it all, you may get up to $13.
Yeah.
But Big Pharma
Terrible.
has been unfairly charging people hundreds of dollars,
Oh,
$400
for
to
God's sake.
$500 a month, making record profits. Not
Record.
anymore. Not anymore.
I think it'll keep going. I really feel like it's
Yeah,
not the
I don't
end.
think, yeah.
I mean, look at Bernie. Amazing.
Manchin. They showed Manchin. They should have shown him the whole time they were talking about insulin.
Yeah, well, they
'Cause
could.
his daughter,
yeah.
price gouged.
Yeah, right.
So many things that we did are
Warnock,
only now coming
Raphael
to fruition.
Warnock looks like he's like amused, like
We
he's
said
not
we were
buying it.
doing
Yeah.
this, and we said we passed
Yeah,
the law to
Warnock's
do
one where I'm always
Yeah.
a
it.
little
People
like,
didn't know because the law didn't
is
take
he
effect
maybe
until
okay?
January 1 of this year. We capped the cost of insulin
True.
at $35
I can sign Medicare for all
a
bill,
month
but I
for
won't.
seniors
Yeah.
on Medicare.
I mean, that's the
Yeah, I know. That's why this makes it
the
that much
theater
worse.
of
Yeah.
political
People are just finding
wrestling.
out.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're getting the same calls I'm getting.
What, from Democrats asking me
Look,
for
there are
$5?
millions of other Americans who do not or are not on Medicare, including 200,000 young people
He should wear the
with
jacket.
type 1 diabetes and these
Which jacket?
need this
Oh,
insulin
the
to
The
stay
jacket.
alive.
jacket, yeah.
Let's
The
finish the job
the
this time.
jacket.
Oh, yeah.
Let's cap the cost of insulin for everybody at $35.
By the way, make it free.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Who's that guy?
That's what's his name? The Montana guy. You know.
And Big Pharma's still going to do very well, I promise you all.
Oh, what?
I promise
Who are you
they're gonna do
talking
very
to?
well. This law also
Why would he
can
say
only
that?
go into effect
For the
in
Republicans.
2025.
Oh, John
Costs
Tester?
That's it,
out-of-pocket
Tester,
drug
yeah.
costs for seniors on
Probably look
Medicare
like-
Yeah,
at a
it's tough to
maximum
keep.
of
It's Buzz from Home Alone
$2,000
as
a year.
a
You don't have to
senator.
pay more than $2,000 no matter how
$2,000.
much your drug costs are.
There's a drug card.
Because you know why? You all know it. Many of you, like many in my family, have cancer. You know the
Here we
drugs
go.
can range from
We're gonna cure it?
10,
Yeah.
11, 14, $15,000 for the cancer drugs. If drug prices rise faster than inflation, drug companies are going to have to pay Medicare back the difference. We're finally,
No, they won't. No, they won't.
we're finally giving Medicare the power to negotiate drug prices. Bringing down prescription drug costs doesn't just save seniors money. It cuts the federal deficit by billions of dollars.
Oh, cool. Cool.
By hundreds of billions of dollars. Because these prescription drugs
I don't want to like go at the
drugs
age of the room
Yeah.
often, but it is
Medicare
startling as
Yeah.
always.
keep their commitment to the seniors. Well, guess what?
What?
Here we
Instead
go.
of paying $400 or $500 a month, you're paying 15. That's a lot of savings for the federal government. And by the way, why wouldn't we
Trying
want
to
that?
court Republicans.
Yeah, right.
Now, some members here are threatening, and I know it's not an official party position, so I'm going to exaggerate, but threatening to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act. As my coach, that's
Oh,
okay. That's fair.
guess they-
As my football
Finally.
coach used to say, lots of luck in your senior year.
I don't get it.
Well, it's not to be gotten.
no
That's one of those
If you
lines.
try anything to raise the cost of
To be
prescription
felt.
drugs, I will veto it.
Mm-hmm.
Look,
Oh my God!
He
Look
pooped.
at that face.
Pooped his pants. 100% pooped his pants.
the more Americans
Oh,
have
good
health
Lord.
Speaking of poop their
insurance
pants, that's
now
Jerry
than ever
Nadler
in
who
history.
did apparently do
Yeah,
that.
that's right. Yeah.
16 million people are enrolled in the Affordable Care Act. And thanks to the law I signed last year, saving millions are saving $800 a year on their premiums. And by the way, that law was written and the benefit expires in 2025. So my plea to some of you, at least in this audience, let's finish the job and make these savings permanent. Expand coverage of Medicaid.
Oh,
my
God. I mean,
oh, with
the,
her bestie, Mitt Romney.
the
who's looking
relatability.
very tan right now.
oh, God. I mean, honestly, it looks like a
The
room without
Inflation Reduction
blood.
Act is
Yeah.
also the most significant investment ever in climate change. Ever. Lower utility bills, creating American jobs,
Uh-huh.
leading the world to a clean energy future. I visited the devastating aftermath
Get rid of the,
of record
military.
floods, droughts, storms, and wildfires from Arizona to Mexico to all the way up to the Canadian border. More timber has been
Yeah.
burned that I've
Yes.
observed from helicopters than the entire state of Missouri.
Missouri.
And we don't
Missouri.
have global warming? Not a problem. In addition to emergency recovery from Puerto Rico to Florida to Idaho, we're rebuilding for the long term. New electric grids that are able to weather major storms and not prevent those forest fires.
Not
Roads and
prevent
water
the
forest
systems
fires?
that stand the
Thank
next
God.
big
We want,
flood.
no, we need more.
Clean energy to cut pollution and create jobs in communities often left behind. We're going to build 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations installed across the country by tens of thousands of IBW workers. And we're helping families save more than $1,000 a year with tax credits
Grand
to
home.
purchase electric vehicles and efficient
Jesus
appliances,
Christ. I
energy
mean,
efficient appliances.
we have to wait
Historic conservation
for the
efforts
debate.
to be responsible.
I mean, we're 2
stewards
years
of our
away, or a
land.
year and a half
Yeah.
away. I mean,
Let's
it's not
face
going to get
reality.
good.
Right.
The climate crisis doesn't care if you're in a red or blue state. It's an existential threat. We have an obligation, not to ourselves, but to our children and grandchildren to confront it. I'm proud of how America at last is stepping up to the challenge.
Uh-huh.
We're
What?
still going to need oil and gas for a while.
Yeah, we
But
have.
guess what?
Impossible.
No,
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's what McCarthy's
But
clapping
there's
for,
so
needing
much
oil
more
and
to
gas.
do. We got to finish the job. We pay for these investments in our future by finally making the wealthiest and biggest corporations begin to pay their fair share.
Come on. I mean, it's just amazing. Let's see. I can't wait to see. It's going to be great.
Look, I'm a capitalist.
It's like I hate the Democrats, and then they'll pan to the Republicans, and I'm filled with more. I'm like, oh God.
A lot of you at home agree with me, and many people that you know. The tax system is not fair. It is not fair.
No, this is like him tweeting.
Look, the idea that in 2020, 55 of the largest corporations in America, the Fortune 500, made $40 billion in profits and paid zero in federal taxes? Zero? Folks, it's simply not fair.
Crayon?
But now, because of the law signed, billion-dollar companies have to pay a minimum of 15%. God love them. 15%.
Yeah, it's a crayon.
That's less than a nurse pays.
So it's the battle of AR-15s versus crayons in the lapel wars.
And I need to be crystal clear. I said at the very beginning, under my plans, as long as I'm president, nobody earning less than $400,000 will pay an additional penny in taxes. Nobody, not one penny. But let's finish the job. There's more to do.
More to do.
We have to reward work, not just wealth.
What?
Pass my proposal for the billionaire minimum tax.
Yes.
You know,
it's really
there's 1,000 billionaires in America. It's up from about 600 in the beginning of term. But no billionaire should be paying a lower tax rate than a school teacher or firefighter. I mean it.
I mean it. Yeah. What a low bar.
I know.
Doesn't it show you we've lost the plot a little?
I mean, look.
Well, what's his name?
Yeah.
The other Delaware Coons, yeah.
Yeah, the worst.
I know you aren't enthusiastic about that, but think about it.
Think about it.
Think about it.
Look at how long
Have you
McCarthy's
noticed
mic is.
Big Oil just reported his profits, record profits.
What the hell is in front of him?
Last year they made
I think it's a water setup.
$2 billion in the midst of a global energy crisis.
I
think it's outrageous. Why? They invested too little of that profit to increase domestic production. And when I talked to a couple of them, they say, we're afraid you're going to shut down all the oil wells and all the oil refineries anyway, so why should we invest in them?
He's nodding there.
Now he's just talking to the side of the
another
room.
decade. And that's going to exceed.
Almost.
Yeah, she's like,
And beyond that, we're going to need it. We're going to need it. Production. If they had, in fact, invested in the production to keep gas prices down, instead, they used the record profits to buy back their own stock, rewarding the CEOs and shareholders. Corporations ought to do the right thing.
Buddy!
That's why I propose we quadruple the tax on corporate stock buybacks and encourage long.
Look at McCarthy. He's so excited.
I know.
They'll still make it.
Oh, God. Look at her.
Deb.
Wasserman.
Let's finish the job and close the loophole to allow very wealthy to avoid paying their taxes. Instead of cutting the number of audits for wealthy taxpayers, I just signed a law to reduce the deficit by $114 billion by cracking down on wealthy tax cheats.
Man.
That's
you absolute piece of shit. Well, he doesn't even know.
He's not fiscally responsible.
Right, yeah, right, yeah. He's very selective.
Yeah.
My administration has cut the deficit by more than $1.7 trillion. The largest deficit reduction in American history. Under the previous administration, the American deficit went up 4 years in a row. Because those record deficits, no president added more to the national debt in any 4 years than my predecessor. Nearly 25% of the entire national debt that took over 200 years to accumulate was added by just one administration alone, the last one.
Yellen and blinking. Yellen.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Wow.
How did Congress respond to that debt? They did the right thing. They lifted the debt ceiling 3 times without preconditions or crisis. They paid American bills to prevent an economic disaster in the country. So tonight I'm asking the Congress to follow suit. Let's commit here tonight to the full faith and credit of the United States of America will never, ever be questioned.
I hope McCarthy burns the speech like Hendricks.
Some of my
just sort of stands
friends
over it.
want to take the economy hostage. I get it, unless I agree to their economic plans. All of you at home should know what those plans are. Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority.
They do, but they pretend they don't.
They don't, and but also Biden on record 80 times being like, let's get rid of it.
Right.
I'll give you a copy.
Oh,
Oh
God.
my
Very
God.
relatable, Cruella.
Yeah. What the hell is she wearing?
No, you don't tell us about what we do unless it's making coats for puppies.
Well, I'm glad to see you. No, I tell you, I enjoy conversion. You know, it means if Congress doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even a significant.
This is
But
real
it's
Jerry
being
Springer.
proposed by individuals.
Look at her.
I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some of you.
Very
Look, folks, the idea is that we're not going to be.
You're a liar?
We're not going to be
think
moved into
NG,
being
what's that?
threatened to
The
default
Ice
on
Queen?
the debt if we
Yeah.
don't respond. Folks,
Wow, this is nuts. What a
She's so
nightmare.
crazy. What is she wearing?
so folks,
It is the Star
as we
Trek
all
outfit.
apparently agree.
No, I mean Maggie.
Social Security,
Taylor.
Medicare. is
Oh,
off the
Maggie?
books
Oh,
now.
Madge?
They're not to be stopped. All right.
That's what we need to see is the VP MGT
We got unanimity.
battle. It's Red versus the
Yeah, seriously.
the Glacier Lady.
Yeah.
Social
Marjorie
Security,
Taylor
Medicare,
White.
a lifeline for millions of seniors. Americans have to pay into them from the very first paycheck they started. So tonight, let's all agree, and we apparently are. Let's stand up for seniors.
I am one. Yeah. I mean, 80% of us
Stand
are
up and
those.
Show them. We will not cut Social Security. We will not cut Medicare. Those benefits belong to the American people. They earned it. And if anyone tries to cut Social Security, which apparently no one's going to do, and if anyone tries to cut Medicare, I'll stop them. I'll veto it. And look, I'm not going to allow them to be taken away. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. But apparently it's not going to be a problem. Next month, when I offer my
it's
fiscal
interesting.
plan, I ask my Republican friends to lay down their plan as well. I really mean it. Let's sit down together and discuss our mutual plans together.
Sure.
Let's do that.
Oh, look who's
That one
up.
stood up for like
Look who's up.
bipartisanship. That's crazy.
Oh, good Lord. It just looks like a room full of needed transfusions.
Yeah.
The plan
They're
I'm
all
gonna show
waiting.
you is
Yeah.
gonna cut the deficit by another $2 trillion. And it won't cut a single bit of Medicare or Social Security. In fact,
I know.
we're going to extend the
yeah.
Medicare
Right.
Trust
Sure.
Fund at least
I mean,
2
how much
decades.
can you?
'Cause that's going
like,
to be the next argument.
that's
How
the
do we
problem. They
make-
can
keep
just
the
run
solid,
on this.
right?
Yeah, right.
Not
Well,
doing that.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll not raise tax on anyone making under 400 grand, but we'll pay for it the way we talked about
We're
too,
all
by making
fucking
sure that the
doomed.
wealthy and big corporations pay their fair share. Look. Here's the deal. They aren't just taking advantage of the tax code. They're taking advantage of you, the American consumer. Here's my message to all of you out there. I have your back. We're already preventing Americans from receiving surprise medical bills, stopping $1 billion surprise bills per month so far.
Way to go.
We're protecting
Why does
See,
police
I know.
have like
Saving.
Brendan Fraser at the Oscars?
by cracking down on nursing homes that commit fraud,
Oh, okay.
endanger patient safety, prescribe drugs that are not needed. Millions of Americans can now save thousands of dollars because they can finally get a hearing aid over the counter without a prescription. Look,
Again, there are like these little baby things. that they have,
Capitalism.
like, yeah.
without competition is not capitalism. It's extortion.
Here we go.
It's exploitation. Last year, I cracked down with the help of many of you on foreign shipping companies that were making you pay higher prices for every good coming into the country. I signed a bipartisan bill that cut shipping costs by 90%, helping American farmers, businessmen, and consumers. Let's finish the job. Pass the bipartisan legislation to strengthen antitrust enforcement and prevent big online platforms from giving their own products an unfair advantage.
McCarthy's doing a good job of blinking the way my cat does at me when it doesn't want me to pet him. Like the slow disinterest
The
blink.
administration is also
His eyes
taking
are
on
closed
junk
for a long
fees.
time.
Yeah,
Those hidden
he's
surcharges too many companies use to make you pay more. For example, we're making airlines show you the full ticket price up front.
I'm sorry.
Refund your money.
How dare
if your flight
you?
is canceled or delayed.
Come on.
Reduce exorbitant bank overdrafts.
Don't
by
talk about
saving
the
consumers
airlines
more than
if
$1
you're giving
billion
this speech.
a year.
Don't bring them
We're
up.
cutting credit card late fees by 75% from $30 to $8.
Go nuts.
Look,
Oh, she's up.
She's up.
junk fees may not matter to the very wealthy, but they matter to most other folks in homes like the one I grew up in, like many of you did.
Mhm.
They add up to hundreds of
That's
dollars a
right.
month. They make it harder for you to pay your bills or afford that family trip. I know how unfair it feels when a company overcharges you and gets away with it. Not anymore. We've written a bill to stop it all. It's called the Junk Fee Prevention Act. We're going to ban surprise resort
I made a
fees
joke about this.
that hotels charge on your bill. Those
The
fees
junk.
can cost you up to $90
Someone
a
on
night
Twitter
at
was very
hotels
upset.
that aren't
Why?
even
I was not being
resorts.
supportive of the president, and I haven't been for a while.
The
joke.
idea
John, come on.
Right.
that cable,
Stupid.
internet, and cell phone companies can charge you $200 or more
Cables.
if you decide to switch to another provider. Give me a break.
Give me a break.
Come on.
We can
Love
stop
saying that.
service fees on tickets to
He sounds
concerts and
Irish.
sporting
We can stop
events.
service
Yeah.
fees.
We can
Companies
stop the
disclose
service
all fees
fees.
up
If
front.
we're not careful.
And we'll prohibit airlines from charging $50 round trip for family just to be able to sit together.
Yeah, but that's not
Baggage fees
enough,
are bad enough.
asshole. But Lord,
Airlines
Klobuchar
can't treat
is
your
really.
child like a piece of baggage. Americans are tired of being. We're tired of being played for suckers. So pass
Yeah, that is very true.
the Junk Free Prevention Act so companies stop ripping us off.
Is Zelensky
For
making
too
an
long.
appearance?
Workers have been getting stiffed, but not anymore. We're beginning to restore the dignity of work.
It does look like
For
Klobuchar
example,
had some edibles.
Yeah.
I should have known
Yeah,
this,
she
but
was
I
in-
didn't
yeah,
until
she
2
was
years
melting.
ago. 30 million workers have to sign non-compete agreements with the jobs they take.
How
30
after
million.
the railroad shit?
I know.
How
Cashier
dare you like?
at a burger place can't walk across town and take the same job at another burger place and make a few bucks more. It just changed. But they just changed it because we exposed it.
We did it.
That was part of the deal, guys. Look it up.
Look
it
it
up.
up.
Not anymore. We're banning those agreements so companies have to compete for workers and pay them what they're worth.
It's
You can
amazing.
I
just
must
see
tell you.
cinema from
I know,
anywhere,
and
right?
that's the goal.
Yeah.
That is the
Oh,
goal.
well,
We're bound to
Ayana's
get a
competing too.
response.
Yeah,
usually.
so for sure. We've got
On
Ayana,
my left with the right.
MGT, and Cinema. But
Yeah.
Cinema looks like
I'm
she's
so
about to
sick and
sprout
tired
wings
of
in the air.
companies breaking the law by preventing
is.
workers from
Party.
organizing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Pass
right.
the PRO Act. Because business have a right. Workers have a right to form a union.
He almost let it slip.
Yeah. Business sense, right?
Business
Yeah.
has a right to
All
control what
workers
workers
have a
can
living
do.
wage. Let's make sure working parents can afford to raise a family with sick days, paid family
Oh,
medical
60s,
leave.
Yeah,
Affordable
it's just
childcare.
amazing to see.
Railways.
Yeah.
That's going to enable
Oh, there's Summer Lee.
millions of more people to go and stay at work. And let's restore the full child tax credit.
What the
which
fuck?
gave
You could
tens
have.
of millions of
Right.
parents some breathing room and cut child poverty in half to the lowest level in history. And by the way, when we do all these things, we increase productivity, we increase economic growth. So let's finish the job and get more families access to affordable quality housing. Let's get seniors who want to stay in their
Have to go
homes
out
the
and
care
come
they
back.
need to do
Okay.
so.
We'll be
Let's
back.
give more
We'll be
breathing
back.
room to millions of family caregivers looking after their loved ones. Pass my plan so we get seniors
Imagine
and
this is
people
like-
with disabilities the home care and
That's
services they need. And support the workers who are doing God's work. These plans are fully paid for and we can afford to do them. Restoring the dignity of work means making education an affordable ticket to the middle class. You know, when we made public
That's that crazy
education,
woman, Stephanie.
12 years of it
Oh,
universal
right.
in the last century,
Who's he?
we made the best
know.
educated, best paid, we became the best educated, best paid nation in the world.
I
The
like
rest of
that
us
he
caught up.
knows. Like I like
Caught
when
up.
people miss the drool
Jill,
on the
my
side of their
wife,
mouth
who
is very.
teaches
I like that he
full-time.
knows that.
has an expression.
Jill's probably trained him like
Hope I get
Yeah.
it right,
slowly.
kid. Any nation that
course, he had
out-educates
to call
us
her
is going to
kid.
out-compete
Right.
us. Any nation out-educates is going to out-compete us. Folks, we all know 12 years of education is not enough to win the economic competition of 21st century. We want to have the best educated workforce. Let's finish the job by providing access to preschool for 3 and 4 years old.
John
Studies show
Favreau.
that children who go to preschool are nearly 50% more likely to finish high school and go on to earn a 2 or 4 year degree.
A lot
no
of the
matter
words
their
meld
background
together.
Yeah.
They came from. Let's give public school teachers a raise.
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Great. Why don't we tweet it and make it happen? Where is there a bill for this? Is there?
We're making progress by reducing student debt, increasing Pell Grants for working and middle-class families. Let's finish the job and connect students to career opportunities starting in
directed
high
Oh,
school.
Iron
that's
Man.
the
Provide
education
access
guy,
to
I
2
think.
years of
Oh.
community college.
Pretty sure it's Favreau.
The best
I don't
career
wanna
training in
put that
America, in
too much.
addition to being a pathway to a 4-year degree.
That
Let's
guy,
offer
the actor
every American a
Favreau.
path to a
Mhm.
good
Oh, I thought
career.
you meant the
Well,
Obama
director,
guy.
actor.
The Obama
Oh,
guy.
no, not that one. No.
Yeah.
And folks, in the midst of the COVID crisis, when
I just
schools
turned
were
4
closed
pages at once, which is troubling.
and we were shutting down everything,
Yeah.
let's recognize how far we came in the fight
many people
against the
died since
pandemic
you got
itself.
A lot.
While the
And
virus is
they
not
still
gone, thanks to the resilience of the American people and the ingenuity of medicine, we've broken the COVID grip on us.
What does that
COVID
mean?
deaths are down by 90%. We've
Well, they
saved
stopped
millions of lives and
counting.
opened up our country. We opened our country back up, and soon we'll end the public health emergency.
How? Because you declare it over?
That's called a public health emergency. But we'll remember the toll and pain that's never going to go away. More than 1 million Americans lost their lives to COVID. 1 million. Families grieving, children orphaned, empty chairs at the dining room table constantly
Keeps doing
reminding
that
you.
one. Nobody sits at the fucking
She
dining room
used to
table.
sit there. Remembering them, we remain vigilant. We still need to monitor dozens of variants and support new vaccines and treatments.
But
So
you're not.
Congress needs to fund
Right.
these efforts and keep America safe. And as we emerge from this crisis stronger, we're also got to double down on prosecuting criminals who stole relief money meant to keep workers and small businesses.
Of the prompt.
Austin, Garland.
Lloyd, yeah. It's really, we are just so fucked.
Before I came to office, you remember, during that campaign, the big issue was about inspector generals
Inspector
who
Gadget.
would protect taxpayers' dollars who were sidelined. They were fired. Many people said we don't need them.
When's he going to talk about
And
Ukraine
fraud
and
became
training?
rampant.
Well, I think the plan is
Last
for
year,
Zelensky's going to
I
drop
told you
in
the watchdog
On a balloon.
SWAT row on a
Since
balloon.
then,
Yeah.
since then we recovered billions.
Zelensky's
of
going to come in and
taxpayers'
shoot the
dollars.
balloon down again.
Now let's
I
triple the
tell you,
anti-fraud
Joe,
strike
without
force
your
going after
weapons, we
these
can't get the
criminals.
balloons.
Double the statute of limitations
You
on
have
these
to say
crimes
it
and
more
crack
like
down
he
on
doesn't
identity
actually
fraud
understand the words
by
he's
criminal
saying.
It's I'd
syndicates
say,
stealing
oh, yeah.
You know what I
billions of
mean?
dollars.
Yes,
Billions
God
of
can
dollars
say
from the
for
American
certain
people.
types of military equipment, you know, and Ben Stiller, you got the champagne and all of it.
Yeah.
That for every dollar
Look
they
at that
put in
posture of
fighting fraud,
I know.
Schumer. That
It's
you
so-
should be
it
kicked
sets my
out
people back.
for
It matters.
Sets my people
It
back.
matters.
Let me tell you.
literally the back.
It's terrible. Yeah.
COVID left its
just-
scars, like the spike in violent crime in 2020,
Oh, here we go.
the first year of the pandemic. We have an obligation to make sure all people are safe.
Fund the police.
Public safety depends on public trust, as all of us know. But too often that trust is violated. Joining us tonight are the parents of
I don't
Tyree
get-
Nichols.
I don't get
Oh,
it.
Tyree Nichols'
Welcome.
parents. Wow.
I mean, obviously,
That's so sad.
yes. But the message.
Right. But what's he going to do with
Yeah.
that? Yeah. Fund the police is what he's been doing.
And
so.
will continue to.
Right.
We had to bury Tyree last week. As many of you personally know, there's no words to describe the heartache or grief of losing a child. But imagine if you lost that child at the hands of the law. Imagine having to worry whether your son or daughter came home from walking down the street, playing in the park, or just driving a car. Most of us in here have never had to have the talk
Most of
that
us.
brown and black parents have had to have with their
I guess
children.
he's acknowledging how
Bo,
white.
Hunter, Ashley, my children.
But again, while
I never
working
had to
in
have the
the
talk with
Yeah.
them.
direction of the
I never
opposition.
had to
Right.
tell them if a police officer pulls you over, turn your interior lights on right away.
You should have given Hunter some
Don't
tips.
reach for your license.
For real.
Keep your hands on the steering wheel. Imagine having to worry like that every single time your kid got in a car.
It's great words.
Here's
Great
what
words.
Tyree's mother shared with me when I spoke to her. When I asked her how she finds the courage to carry on and speak out.
And what did you say you'd do?
Right.
The faith of God, she said her son was, quote, a beautiful soul, and something good will come of this. Imagine how much courage and carry that takes. It's up to us, to all of us. We all want the same thing.
What?
Neighborhoods free of violence. Law enforcement who earns the community's trust.
Law enforcement. That's
That
when
is
you
very
earn it.
Cop when they turn on that
First-
badge in the morning has a right to be able to go home at night.
She
So
did
does everybody
call.
else. out there.
He was against busing, by the way.
Yeah.
Someone and referred to a racial
Have a right to
jungle.
come home
And I believe the vice president brought it up.
Equal protection.
Oh,
under the
a
law
cane
is a
clap.
covenant
Wow.
A
we have
cane
with
clap,
each other.
never a ringing endorsement. Doesn't make much of a noise.
True.
We know police officers put their lives on the line every single night and day.
Well, but other
And
people.
we know we
lost
ask
more.
them in many
Yeah.
cases to do too much to be counselors, social workers, psychologists, responding to drug overdoses, mental health crises, and so much more. In one sense, we ask much too much of them. I know most cops and their families are good, decent, honorable people, the vast majority. But they risk.
Biden had the talk with corn pop. Someone wrote.
And they risk their lives every time they put that shield on.
Oh, good Lord.
But what happened to Tyree in Memphis happens too often. We have to do better. Give law enforcement the real training they need. Hold them to
This is
higher
Jim.
standards. Help them succeed
This
in
is
keeping us
vodka.
safe. We also need more
See,
first responders and
what's the
professionals
Yes,
to address the
vodka
growing
with
mental
Ben
health and
Stiller,
substance abuse
meat
challenges.
focus.
More resources to reduce violent crime and gun crime. More community intervention programs. More investment in housing, education, and job training.
But for real, how are you going to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
But that's
this
what's amazing about this
help
speech
prevent
is
violence in
there,
the first
you know,
place.
there is
No
just,
policy.
it is his Twitter. It's
Yeah.
just, there's no actual
Police
connection to any
departments violate the
realistic
public
goal.
trust. They must be held accountable.
So what are you going to do?
So what? What's the
Yeah.
plan?
With the support of the families of victims, civil rights groups, and law enforcement, I signed an executive order for all federal officers, banning chokeholds, restricting no-knock warrants, and other key elements of the George Floyd Act. Let's commit ourselves to make the words of Tyler's mom true. Something good must come
Tyler's
from
mom?
this.
I think you might.
Something good.
Not great,
And all of us,
but it's right. That's how he feels.
all of us.
Well, it's, yeah. Jesus. Look at this print. He's got that big, well, you know, when you see on someone's
That's
phone, they got the
difficult,
big
but it's
font.
Yeah.
His speech is
all
was
written
it?
in the
These chambers.
block
We
letters.
need to rise to this
It's like
moment.
9 words a
We
page.
can't turn away. Let's do what we know in our hearts that we need to do. Let's come together to finish the job on police reform. Do something. Do
What?
something.
Do you,
That
do you know
was the
anyone
plea
with
of
power?
parents who lost their children in Uvalde. I met with every one of them. Do something about gun violence.
What'd you do about gun violence?
Thank
Yeah,
God.
and was that purely
Thank
a gun
God we
a
did.
violence issue? Felt like there was
Passing the most sweeping gun safety law in
Right.
3 decades.
a law enforcement
Yeah.
issue as well. So we paid them more to
That includes
investigate
things like
themselves and figure
that
out
the
who was doing
majority
it
of
wrong.
Responsible gun owners already support. enhanced background checks for 18 to 21 years old, red flag laws, keeping guns out of the hands of people who are a danger to themselves and others. But we know our work is not done. Joining us tonight is Brandon Say, a 26-year-old hero. Brandon put his college dreams on hold to be at his mom's side. His mom's side when she was dying from cancer.
It's amazing that Bono's finally transitioned into the lead singer of Rush. It's a deep cut.
No, I like that.
Oh, yeah. This guy, I mean, this guy's story, yeah.
This the dance studio started by his grandparents. And 2 weeks ago, during the Lunar New Year celebrations, he heard the studio door close. And he saw a man standing there pointing a semi-automatic pistol at him. He thought he was going to die, but he thought about the people inside. And in that instant, he found the courage to act and wrestled a semi-automatic pistol away from the gunman who had already killed 11 people in another dance studio. 11. He saved lives.
But that's not the solution.
It's time we do the same.
It's like amazing to just be like,
now. Ban
yeah.
them now.
Yes, but
Once and for all. I led the fight to do that in 1994. And in 10 years, that ban was law and mass shootings went down. After we let it expire in the Republican administration, mass shootings tripled. Let's finish the job and ban these assault weapons.
Yeah.
And let's also come together on immigration. Make
Weird
it a
transition. Yeah. See, that's like as a comic when you don't know where to go, you know? You're like, plus the grocery store checkout.
Yeah. What's the deal?
Should no more standing for sure.
To secure the border, arresting 8,000 human smugglers, seizing over 23,000 pounds of fentanyl in just the last several months. We've launched a new border plan last month. Unlawful migration from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela has come down 97% as a consequence of that. But American border problems won't be fixed until Congress acts. If we don't pass my comprehensive immigration reform, at least pass my plan to provide the equipment and officers to secure the border.
I don't know if I like one without the other.
And a pathway to citizenship.
When the pandering bombs.
Dreamers,
Yeah, right.
those on temporary status, farm workers, essential workers. Here in the people's house, it's our duty to protect all the people's rights and freedoms. Congress must restore the right and the... Congress must restore the right.
I don't know.
Close the border, maybe?
That was taken away.
That's a weird
In
one.
Roe v. Wade, and protect Roe v. Wade.
I'm just
Buddy.
going from one to the...
Buddy.
He's just like, these are all the things that I'm supposed to be good on.
Sinatra towards the end. He's like, no, we're going to do it. New York.
To protect access to reproductive health care.
Not
And
that there's been
safeguard
anything on
patient
that.
I
safety.
know. It's
Already
amazing.
More than a dozen states are enforcing extreme abortion bans. Make no mistake about it. If Congress passes a national ban, I will veto it. But let's
The
also
bar is so
pass.
fucking
know.
low.
Let's also pass the Bipartisan Equality Act to ensure LGBTQ Americans, especially
card.
transgender young people, can live with safety and dignity. Our strength.
Oh,
Oh, my God.
I'm ready
strength
to
is not
unite the
just
worker
example
bees.
of our power,
Oh, my
but the
God.
power of our example. Let's remember the world's watching. I spoke in
anymore,
this chamber
really.
1 year ago, just days after Vladimir Putin unleashed his brutal attack against Ukraine.
Who
A
could have seen
murderous
it coming?
assault,
Yes.
evoking images of death and destruction Europe suffered in World War II. Putin's invasion has been a test for the ages, test for America, a test for the world.
Test for the ages.
Would we stand for the most basic of principles? Would we stand for sovereignty? We stand for the right of people to live free of tyranny? Would we stand for the defense of democracy? For such defense matters to us because it keeps peace and prevents open season on would-be aggressors and threatens our prosperity.
Blinken.
Blinking and
China.
yelling and blinking.
We know the answer. Yes, we would, and we did. We did.
But what's he holding? Oh, the cane. It's cane.
Oh, it's the cane guy.
And together, we did what America always does at our best. We led.
Turn 4 pages at
We
the same
united NATO.
time.
We built a global coalition.
Turn 4 pages
stood against
of
Putin's
font
aggression.
96 and
We
New
stood with
Courier
Ukrainian
New
people
5
tonight.
times.
We're once again joined by Ukrainian's ambassador to the United States.
right.
She represents not just her nation, but the courage of her people.
I
Ambassador
like the Owen Wilson looking guy.
is
Oh my
our
God, what's with
ambassador
that
is
hair?
I
here.
love it.
Is that his
Uniting
hair or
our-
someone
we're
else's?
uniting
I
our
think it's
support of
his.
the
I
country.
don't think he's borrowing.
We
It's like
stand
from
so
No, I
we can
thought
all
someone was
take
sitting
away.
Yeah,
behind
yeah, I
him or
know what you
something.
mean. Yeah.
Who is that guy?
Thank you.
I don't know.
And why isn't she wearing yellow and blue? She's like so
Fair.
sick of wearing that.
Fair. Yeah. She's
I've always
done.
seen her in that.
'Cause we're going to stand with you
It's like you like it, you wear it.
I like Carmen San
as
Diego.
long as it takes. Our nation is working for more freedom, more dignity, more peace, not just in Europe, but everywhere. Before I came to office, the story was about how the People's Republic of China was increasing its power
Here we go.
and America was failing in the world.
Well, I'm
Not
afraid I'm
anymore.
going to need to up my glass.
Yeah,
We
That's-
made clear,
We're getting to
and
the
I
China
made
part.
clear in my
Yeah.
personal conversations, which have been many, with President Xi, that we seek competition, not conflict.
We see
But
competition,
I will
not
make
conflict.
no apologies that we're investing and to make America stronger. Investing in American innovation and industries that will
Look at
define the
Blinken.
future
He looks
that
like he's gonna
China
cry.
intends to be dominating. Investing in our alliances and working with our allies to protect advanced technologies so they will not be used against us. Modernizing our military to safeguard stability and deter aggression. Today,
What did I miss?
we're the
Just
strongest
talking
position in decades to
competition, not
compete with
contra-
China or
not,
anyone else
um,
in the
Contraception.
world. Anyone else in the world.
Competition,
Look at
not
that. Look at that
Oh my
beautiful
God.
group of.
full of life.
If he wanted to help the climate, you know what he could do?
What?
Blow
I'm committed
those
to
men.
work
Right.
with China
Yeah.
where we can advance American interests and benefit the world, but make no mistake about it. As we made clear last week, if China threatens our sovereignty, we will
They
act
threatened
to
our
protect
sovereignty?
country,
Really
and we
took
did.
bait.
Yeah, he really did.
We shot down the balloon. We showed the balloon who's
Look.
boss. That's the only inflation
Let's be
I'm
clear.
Oh,
popping.
nice.
Winning the competition
use
should
that.
deny all
Well,
this.
you know, that's what I'm
We
here
face
for.
serious challenges across the world. But in the past 2 years, democracies have become stronger, not weaker. Autocracies have grown weaker, not stronger. Name me a world leader who changed places with Xi Jinping. Name me one.
What is he talking
Name me
about?
one.
What's he talking about?
America's rallying the world to meet those challenges
This
from
is my
climate to
favorite part.
global health to food
Name me
insecurity,
one.
to terrorism, to territorial aggression. Allies are stepping up, spending more, and doing more. Look, the bridges we're forming between partners in the Pacific and those in the Atlantic, and those who bet against America are learning how wrong they are. It's never,
I'm gonna
ever
line
been a good
something.
bet to bet against
Oh.
America. Never.
Never been a good bet. Look at Austin.
Yeah, he's so big.
What's up with that
That
haircut?
and also, what's with Tester's? Like, what is Tester's ribbon for?
Yeah. Ukraine, no?
Oh, maybe it
no.
was.
You're right. It's only
When I
yellow,
came to
no
office,
blue.
Yeah,
most assured
I don't know.
bipartisanship assumed was impossible, but never believed it.
I think what's in
That's
front
why
of
a year
McCarthy
ago
is a
I offered a
crown.
unity agenda.
That's my
for the
new-
nation.
That's what I'd like
Yeah.
to picture
We
now.
made
Don't
real
put it on
progress
at the end.
together. We passed a law making it easy for doctors to prescribe effective treatments for opioid addiction. We passed
Unfortunately, those are opioids.
the gun safety law, making historic investments in mental health. We launched the ARPA-H drive
this
for
is health,
breakthrough in the
mental
fights
health.
against
Right,
cancer,
right.
Alzheimer's, and diabetes, and so much more.
It's exciting.
We passed the Heath Robinson Pact Act, named after the late Iraq War veteran whose story about exposure to toxic burn kits I shared here last year.
You should get up for that, Kevin.
Yeah, honestly, like the way
Just
he's
pretend to
detr-
care
honestly,
about that shit.
Like there's a little bit of bone throwing you have
Yeah.
to do,
I
asshole.
understand
For
something about
veterans.
those burn
Yeah.
kits, but there's so much more to do. We can do it together. Joining us tonight
No, we can't.
is a father named Doug
Oh,
from Newton, New Hampshire. He wrote Jill, my wife, a letter, and me as well, about his
Mostly
courageous
Jill.
daughter, Courtney. A contagious laugh, his sister's best friend, her sister's best friend. He shared a story all too familiar to millions of Americans and many of you in the audience. Courtney discovered pills in high school.
Mm.
It spiraled into addiction and eventually death from a fentanyl overdose. She was just 20 years old. Describing the last 8 years without her, Doug said, "There's no worse pain." Yet their family has turned pain to purpose, working to end the stigma and change laws. He told us he wants to start a journey toward American recovery. Doug, we're with you.
Well, no,
Fentanyl
it's actually
is killing
he
more
should
than
be with you,
70,000
sir.
Americans a year.
You should be.
You got it.
What? What are they?
Real chatty.
So let's launch a major
Real
surge to
chatty,
stop
that chick.
fentanyl production.
What did he
and
get the
sale
number
and
wrong or something? Why are
trafficking.
they yelling
I
at
don't
him?
know.
Drug detection
I think I
machines,
talked
inspection
over it.
cargo, stop pills and powder at the border.
Oh,
Somebody
someone
else,
yelled it's
your
your
fault.
fault? Who said that?
Working
Cinema.
with
No,
couriers
no.
like FedEx to inspect more packages for drugs. Strong penalties to crack down on fentanyl trafficking.
At Kane.
The
Second,
cane
let's do
is
more mental
my
health,
new
especially
favorite
for our
part. Is
children.
just seeing the
When
like.
millions of young people are
foregrounded
struggling with
Kane.
bullying, violence, trauma, we give them greater access to mental health care at their schools. We must finally hold social media companies accountable for experimenting they're doing running children for profit. It's time to pass bipartisan
The
legislation.
kids are TikToking while they're live streaming on their Snapchat.
collecting personal data.
They're
on our
vining
kids
on their
and
tweets.
teenagers online. Ban targeted advertising to children and impose stricter limits on the personal data that companies collect on all of us. Third, let's do more to keep this nation's one truly sacred obligation.
Third felt weird to
Equip those
say.
we send into
I
harm's way
wasn't
and
sure
care
we
for
were on
them and
a
their
list,
families when
but-
they come home. Job training, job placement for veterans and their spouses as they come to return to civilian life. Helping veterans afford the rent, because no one should be homeless in America, especially someone who served the country.
What's the plan?
Yeah.
Kane.
Dennis McDonough is here, at the VA. We had a first real discussion when I asked him to take the job. I'm glad he did.
So
We were losing up to 25 veterans a day on suicide. Now we're losing 17 a day to the silent scourge of suicide. 17 veterans a day are committing suicide. More than all the people being killed in the wars.
Wow.
Folks, VA is doing everything it can, including expanding mental health screening, proven programs that recruit
prune
veterans
programs.
to help other veterans
for
understand what they're
me.
going through.
I
Get
love
them
a
the help
prune
they need.
program.
We got to do more. And
Who's in
fourth,
charge?
Right.
last year, Jill and I reignited the cancer moonshot
Here we
that I
go.
was able to start with President Obama asked me to lead our administration on this issue.
I think it
Our
was
goal is
just
to cut
busy
the
work,
cancer
but I wouldn't
death
shut the
rates
fuck up about it.
at least by 50% in the next 25
McCarthy
years.
nodding.
Can you imagine
More
Obama
cancers
just
from
being
death
like,
sentences to
Joe, why don't you go
Yeah,
disease.
take care
cure
of cancer.
cancer for a little while?
Provide
And
more
he's like,
support
I'll
for
go do
patients
that,
and
sir.
their
I'm
families.
right on top of that.
It's personal to so many of us in this audience. Joining us are Morris and Candice, an Irishman and the daughter of immigrants from Panama. They met and fell in love in New York City and got married in the same chapel Jill and I got married in New York City. Kindred spirits.
I
He wrote us a
appreciate
letter
the human
his little
touch of
daughter,
the when you
And I
bring
saw
in
her just before I
Right.
came
people
over.
who have been touched
She
by
was
these
just a
things.
year old when she
but
was
it's
diagnosed with
also,
rare kidney disease,
uh,
cancer.
You could find, you know,
After 26
everyone
blood
has been touched
transfusions,
by everything if you want.
11 rounds of radiation,
No.
8 rounds of chemo,
Chemo,
one kidney removed,
Keno, they were at a
even
casino.
a 5% survival rate. He wrote how in the darkest moments he thought, if she goes, I can't stay. Many of you have been through that as well. Jill and I understand that like so many of you. And he read Jill's book describing our family's cancer journey and how we tried to steal moments of joy where we could with Bo. For them, that glimmer of joy was the half smile of their baby girl. It meant everything to them. They never gave up hope. Little Ava never gave up hope. She turns 4 next
Great,
month.
great personal story.
Oh, yeah,
just
cute.
found
She's still
out.
alive. She's so
Yeah,
David
but it's like
beating the odds.
you
Is on her
could
way to
do
being
this for
cured of
literally
cancer.
Right,
everything.
yeah.
And she's watching from the White House tonight if she's not asleep already. For the
Yeah.
lives we can save. For the lives we can save and
Yeah,
the
right.
lives we've lost.
Yeah.
Let this be a truly American moment that rallies the country and the world together and proves that we can still do big things. 20 years ago, under the leadership of President Bush and countless advocates and champions, he
Here we go.
undertook a bipartisan effort through PEPFAR to transform the global fight against HIV/AIDS.
Oh,
It's been a huge success. He thought big. He thought large. He moved. I believe we can do the same thing with cancer.
Well, Kane,
Oh my-
Kane.
It's so menacing.
I wanted to
Cancer,
just whack
you know.
McCarthy in the schnoz.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Bono.
Cure some cancers
His hair looks like
once
it was
and for
fried.
all.
Bono's looking crazy.
Folks,
Yeah.
there's
I
one
mean,
reason
Madonna
why we've been
set
able
up
to
very
do all
high
these
bar.
things.
My
Our democracy
God.
itself.
Oh,
the
come
most
on. That's
fundamental thing of all.
You don't want to get like too rude, but
Democracy,
come on.
everything's possible.
Baby step.
Without it,
Yes.
nothing is.
seriously.
The last few years, our
Also
democracy has
bad.
That
been
was
threatened
bad.
and attacked,
That was bad.
put at risk, put to the test in this very room on January the 6th. And then just a few months ago, an unhinged big lie, assailed and unleashed a political violence at the home of the then Speaker of the House of Representatives,
Oh, right.
using the very same language the insurrectionists used as they stalked these halls and chanted on January
Oh,
6th.
good Lord.
Here tonight in this
She's talking
chamber
to
Boy,
herself.
I know.
is a man who bears the scars of that brutal attack,
I'm a human piece
but
of
is as
Who is
tough and
this
as
guy?
strong as resilient as they
It
get.
looks like
My friend Paul
Undercover
Pelosi.
Paul
Paul's
Pelosi.
Oh,
son.
that's.
Is it Paul?
Oh, he's probably because his head is probably
Oh, shit.
injured.
Oh,
Oh, and I
shit.
called him a gangster before. I'm
Well,
sorry. I
that's
didn't
okay.
know. Not all
Yeah, we just had a feeling about those stocks.
Right. That is undercover Paul
It's
Pelosi.
such a heinous
Rah.
act should have never happened. We must all speak out. There's no place for political violence in America. We have to protect the right to vote, not suppress the fat fundamental
Wouldn't it
right.
be funny if he'd
Honor
addressed
the results
like, I
of
don't
our
think he was a
elections,
gay
not subvert
Carl.
the will of people.
Yeah.
We have
And to
to
be
uphold
fair,
the rule of law and restore trust
they
in
were
our
not dating
institutions
us.
of democracy. We must give hate and extremism in any form no safe harbor.
What's the policy on that?
You know, just
Democracy
attitude.
must not be a partisan issue.
Just whacks McCarthy.
Every
Ow!
generation
Is he
of Americans
trying
will
to
face
get
the
in
moment
there?
where
He
they
must
will
be.
call to
I
protect
bet
our
you he's selling
democracy.
canes on
Yeah.
his site. He's
Stand
merch.
up
He's
for it.
this merch movement.
And this is our moment. My fellow Americans, we meet tonight at an inflection point. One of those moments that only a few generations ever face, where the direction we now take is going to decide the course of this nation for decades to come.
Sure.
What?
We're not
No.
bystanders of history.
Mhm.
We're not powerless before the forces that confront us.
Right. No,
It's
you have all
within
the.
our power of we, the people.
Uh-huh.
We're facing the test of our time.
Sure.
We have to be the nation we've always been at our best.
Right.
Optimistic, hopeful, forward-looking. A nation that embraces light over dark,
That's
hope over fear,
Water
unity
over
goodness,
dry
stability
mouth.
over chaos. We have to see each other not as enemies, but as fellow Americans. We're good people. The only nation in the world built on an idea. The only one.
What?
what the
What is that? Yeah.
What are you talking about?
That
No
sounds
other
like a
nation was built on an
conspiracy theory.
idea? Oh, good Lord. A lot of buttons and crayons.
Yeah,
Defined
seriously.
by geography, ethnicity. But we're the only nation
Oh, I
based on an
see.
idea.
What the idea?
That
Kill
all
the
of us,
people who
Yeah.
are here
Every
and
one
make
of
it
us is
ours,
created equal in
and
the
then
image of God.
keep lying to them about our
a nation that
promises.
stands as a beacon of the world,
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
a nation in a new age of possibilities.
I think we're like Charlie
God,
Sheen
come
the
to
country. We're just
Fulfill my
like
constitutional
winning.
obligation.
Right.
But it's like, no,
to
bro, you're
report in the State of
dying.
the
Right.
Union. And here's
You're
my,
still
my,
alive,
my
right?
report.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's
But still,
Because the
barely.
soul
Yeah.
of this nation is strong. Because the backbone of this nation is strong.
backbone.
Because the
Backbone
people of this nation
mountain.
are strong.
Look at this.
The State of the Union is strong.
As I said, it
Kind of
is.
didn't land the finish.
No.
That cane
The Canes won the night.
Yeah, definitely. Good night for the cane.
The cane is just won.
You won't even clap for like saying that some bullshit about America's backbone.
Yeah, I think they're
I'm not
partisan.
Yeah. I stand here tonight,
yes,
having served as long as about any one of you have ever served.
Herman Cain, if he were still with us, would just be a perfect.
But I've never been more optimistic about our future.
Sure.
About the future of America. Just to remember who we are.
Yeah, who are we?
The United States of America. And there's nothing beyond our capacity if we do it together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you.
They didn't mention Bono.
No, they didn't. He was there in the fight against AIDS.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah. All right. Well,
man, he is coked out of his tits, huh?
Yeah. Guys, don't go anywhere because we're gonna have a panel. We're so excited. We're gonna have people reacting to this, including Gareth, who has to go in the other room because of audio.
Oh my God. What a shit show.
I know, it's awful.
It's so bad. You said.
Oh, do you need Wi-Fi? You need the Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
I need to give you my Wi-Fi. Yeah. I'll text it to you.
Okay.
All right. Hi, everyone. We're bringing in the panel. Thank you so much for watching this. And then Gareth is here, but because of audio stuff, he's going to be in the other room. Welcome to the Katie Halper Show. We're about to bring in the guests who are amazing. 1 second. Hold on. Okay, we're connected. 1 second. Everyone share this, like the stream if you haven't already. Hold on a second. Brad, you want to come on? I'm just doing some logistics stuff. Brad, can you come on and give a quick reaction to that? Because I know you have lots of feelings, and then I'll bring in the guests.
Yeah, I hated all of that. And I think the only way that I could have gotten through that is with all of us here together, reminding me that I'm not like uniquely insane, and that, yeah, actually all of this stuff is objectively untrue. But I know I said it in the comments in the chat, but I think it bears repeating. And I could be proven wrong about this, but I really do think that it would be an interesting exercise to revisit one of his past State of the Union addresses when the Democrats had the ability to actually do some of these things, and compare his rhetoric then with his rhetoric now, when none of this is going to get done because it's not going to pass the Senate. And yeah, I would just strongly suspect that back when it could have been done, he probably wouldn't be reading a speech that literally sounds like the Cliff's Notes from one of Bernie's speeches to a large degree.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I know that a lot of people here understand that, but I don't know. Do you think that a lot of the mainstream audience
I don't think so.
Would have that perspective or understand those things?
No, I don't think so. But we have some guests coming on who I think do have that perspective. So
yes, absolutely.
With that as a transition, we're going to bring on Norman Solomon from Roots Action and Medea Benjamin from Code Pink. Welcome.
Hey, hi.
Hi, how are you?
We're well as could be after the speech.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on what we just saw?
Well, if one came in from another planet and just listened to it and didn't know anything about the last 2 years or the last 50 years, then it would sound pretty damn good if you would exclude like 1/3 of it was just jingoistic stuff one way or the other. But I think it's the contrast between his actual record and what he was espousing. I do take the point that the less likely it is Congress to enact some of the best stuff that he was advocating, the more vehement he has tended to seem to be. The last part of the speech was horrible. The militarism and the disguising U.S. imperial military desires as some sort of national security. I mean, that is just so dangerous.
Yeah. Medea, what do you think?
Oh, I would quote the great Greta Thunberg saying, blah, blah, blah. You know, heard it all before, heard it in the last State of the Union. Sounds like the same old stuff. And I mean, I guess it was good that he didn't talk too much about Ukraine, because it would have been even worse to hear him talk more about that. You know, U.S. defense of democracy around the world is so ridiculous when you think of what the U.S. gives to Israel every year and what the U.S. Has been doing to supply the bombs to Saudi Arabia to kill the people in Yemen, and the almost $2 billion we give every year to Egypt, and on and on and on. So that, you know, supporting democracy around the world stuff just doesn't go over very well with me. And yeah, I guess like Norman said, I mean, when they had control of Congress and could have done this stuff, it would have been nice. And instead they wait till they can't do it to then talk about what they want to do, knowing that they can't do it.
Right.
Yeah. Among many of the things that, just to put it mildly, sticks in the moral craw is about the, who knows, sincere compassion for children and those who are suffering from egregious illnesses. And you just think of Yemen for starters. I mean, what is the double think going on here that if somebody is a U.S. citizen, then it is just so important and painful, which it is when a child is suffering, dies, elderly, are left to wither away from lack of health care or nutrition. And then meanwhile, fist bump, the guy who's leading the way to slaughter people in Yemen.
Right. Ahmed bin Salman. Yeah. MBS. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, all this stuff about Buy American and, you know, our manufacturing sector is back again. Of course, you know, what I think of is weapon sales and how that's a thriving manufacturing sector and a thriving export that the U.S. is now known for around the world. But in terms of real manufacturing of what people need and what's needed for this planet to deal with the climate crisis, we are certainly not the world's leader when it comes to manufacturing those kinds of things.
Right.
We're the leader in manufacturing consent in America, which is nice.
Yeah, that is true.
We
Yeah.
are very good at doing that.
Yeah.
We have.
Jumped out. I was going to say.
I just want to bring in. We have another guest I want to bring in, but then I'll throw it back to you, Norman. We also have joining us Daniel Bessner, the historian Daniel Bessner. Hi, Danny. Oh, we can't hear you. You're silent.
Hello. Thank you for having me, Katie. Sorry about that.
You're joined by Medea Benjamin and Norman Solomon and Gareth Reynolds. I think you know that already, but
yes. Yes. Thank you.
So very anxious to hear your thoughts. Just want to let Norman finish what he was saying, and then we'll throw to you, Danny.
One of the many things that jumped out was fairly early on in the speech tonight. Biden said, I ran for president so things would fundamentally change. And I think that's a great example where speaking to tens of millions of people, where the status quo is understood to be unacceptable for most people, he's saying that he ran so things would fundamentally change. And we know that he didn't know that he would be actually quoted and exposed to have said it, but he told funders, big funders, when he was running for president in 2020, that nothing would fundamentally change, and that was the goal of his campaign.
Right. What are your thoughts, Danny?
It's interesting. So I'm writing a piece right now on Fukuyama. Well, I guess I'd leave it up to you to find out if it's interesting. I'm writing a piece on Fukuyama right now, and it's hard not to conclude that in some sense he was correct, in the sense that liberalism. Yes, Katie. Yeah.
Well, not everyone knows who Fukuyama is or what the end of history is.
Sure. Yeah. So
Oh, good.
Let me
Okay.
just explain briefly. So Fukuyama argued that when the United States, quote unquote, won the Cold War, and of course, none of us believe in that simple narrative, but when it won the Cold War, liberalism had emerged as the quote unquote final ideology. And he called this the end of history because he was referencing this German philosopher. But he was just essentially claiming that the liberal way to approach the world was really the only way. You know, he might have even said, if you're being the most moral, it wouldn't be the way. But in actual history, only liberalism rules. And in some sense, I think Fukuyama was right, as represented by this speech, because like my colleagues here were saying, it's the same old crap. And the sad thing is no one even believes it anymore. It's not like people believe the United States is going to do these things. I saw Will Menica from Chapo on Twitter say something along the lines of Biden promised, replace American infrastructure or what have you. And that's what every president has promised in my lifetime. I hope they get it done this time. So I think this is a consensus. I think people basically don't believe in it, but there's been no real ideological challenge to it. And so I think that basically accounts for why everyone feels a little nuts these days, because the emperor has no clothes and there's nothing we can do about it. And the naked emperor, our gerontocratic leader, gets up there, says the same old crap in the same exact way. No one believes it, yet here we are. And so I think it really speaks to our moment of political paralysis, that he doesn't even feel compelled to come up with a better lie. He's just basically telling the rubes the same old story. So it's really grim. And I think it's sort of like this rictus grin on Biden's face makes it even more grim in this sort of grotesque way.
And what are your thoughts in general? I mean, we're obviously reacting to the State of the Union speech. And Gareth, if you have anything to add, just jump in. But what are your thoughts in general on some of these issues? I mean, Biden's foreign policy, recent events with China, the proxy war in Ukraine.
Sure. I mean, I think the Biden foreign policy is atavistic in the sense that it's governed by the idea that the United States is going to be able to remain roughly as hegemonic as it was in control of the world in the 1990s and 2000s. But if you look at the material bases of U.S. power, it just isn't that way anymore. If you look at like the amount of global GDP that the United States and the G7 countries control, it's just been going down for basically decades. So whereas in a rationalist polity, or even let's say in a democratic polity, which I don't think we really have here, you would have some discussion about this fact, right? Like the material conditions have changed, so the U.S. approach to the world has changed. But Biden, for a variety of reasons, I think his age is one. I think the people who he chooses to put in office is another. Essentially acts like nothing has changed. And so you have this, confrontation, quote unquote, with China. What does that mean? It basically means that the United States is going to be forever able to station troops on China's border from now until forever. You get the war in Ukraine, which I find it personally hard to connect to any solid U.S. interests. And if Europe wants to support, Ukraine, that's fine. Europe is very rich and they should do so. So you basically have this literally Cold War foreign policy going forward without any recognition that the world has changed. So that's where I stand on that one.
Yeah, that's a great point. 20 years ago, there was a big celebration, 30 years ago in U.S. media, that finally the world was unipolar, and USA finally could unchallenged astride the colossus of the planet. Biden I agree, Biden very much locked into that, not only as a personal proclivity, but he represents a big part of the corporate military intelligence complex. I mean, God knows it's incredibly lucrative. And so when Biden came in, he gave a speech that at last, the United States, this was his phrase, the United States again will, quote, sit at the head of the table, unquote, of the planet. And this is just like really perfect. And of course, has its roots in the Clinton wing of the party. When Hillary Clinton ran in 2016, she gave a big speech to the American Legion convention right before the November 16 election. And she said that the United States, she hauled out the chestnut and really banged on it. the U.S. is the one, quote, indispensable nation, unquote. And it's been pointed out, but not very widely, that if you look up the word indispensable, almost none of it applies to the United States. I mean, what is indispensable on the planet for the United States? I guess, as Medea is pointing out, arms dealers and arms buyers, but the world could get along very well without the USA in almost every way. Thank you.
Do better, right?
Yeah.
The way he also taught the idea that we can sit and have people continue to talk about how they are making an impact on climate change or global warming, while you have the military sitting in a juror's box up front, again, I mean, it's just, I was sort of talking to Katie about this before. It's like, part of me is like, is the bullshit getting bigger and bigger, or am I just getting older and have heard it over and over, or is it the combination? It is at the point where it's just like the selective bullshit. There's so much pandering, obviously, that goes into that, but the idea that Biden can go up there and is talking about the threat of Social Security being cut is, again, I mean, it's just all so the hypocrisy, the joke of it all.
Oh, right.
And it's it really is. It's just getting, I haven't watched one of these in a couple years, to be honest, because it is just like this for me. It becomes this kind of overly emotional experience where I just want to throw things out the window. But you cannot sit there and actively talk about the things you're doing with infrastructure, or the inch that you're moving the needle on climate change and pretending like you move it a mile, while you have the military represented and pandered to so repeatedly, during this event. It's just, it really is remarkable. I mean, it's just remarkable.
Yeah, and who was chanting the USA, USA this time? I guess it wasn't the Republicans that usually do that. I guess that was coming from the Democrats.
You're giving me a flashback, because as Bernie delegates in 2016 in Philadelphia, when we sprung on, was it Leon Panetta?
Yep.
It just felt like he sat down in his living room, and all of a sudden people were shouting him down. He was like, the video of it is great. It's like, what's going on? These were my friends, and there's some of them, they're chanting no more war. And then they had a general a day or two later, the same thing going on. And the second time they were ready for us. I'm proud that the California Bernie delegates helped to initiate the chants no more war. And the next night when the general talked, they were ready, and they drowned us out chanting USA. So I guess they're still drowning us out.
One thing that strikes me at these states of the union in general is that, of course, whoever's in power has to make like everything is great for the American people. And so you get this disconnect between what's actually happening in your life, with the rents being too high, with the not having living wages, with people living on the streets, with all of the dysfunction of U.S. society, and yet you're hearing how great everything is. Yeah. And I also just want to say, because I'm a little tired, I just got back from Cuba today, and it is just criminal what the Biden administration is doing, and the economic warfare that this country is waging on countries, not just big countries like China and Russia, but on little countries like Cuba that can't fight back, that don't have the alternatives, and where it is causing people's lives to be so miserable. To hear Biden talking about, how we're helping people around the world and we're stopping illegal immigration and that kind of thing. I mean, in the case of Cuba especially, we are causing massive immigration by our policies. And when Kamala Harris says that she is becoming so successful at going to the roots of the problem of immigration, and knowing that in Cuba, the root of the problem is a brutal, brutal U.S. economic blockade that Biden has enforced during a COVID pandemic and post-COVID pandemic, where countries have not recovered, is just so shameful. And I know, that this is not something that's going to come up in the State of the Union address, but people should know about economic warfare that the Biden administration is engaged in, and how harmful it is to ordinary people, and not particularly to governments. It doesn't change government, right, whether you're talking about Cuba or Nicaragua or Venezuela or Syria, whatever. But it certainly hurts the people terribly.
Yeah. And Medea, I know you have to go soon because we're running behind, because Joe Biden was running behind and you're exhausted because of your trip. But I just want to ask you to tell people to share with us what Code Pink is working on, what you're working on. Also, highly recommend your book, Ukraine, Making Sense of a Senseless War, that you co-wrote. But tell us what Code Pink is doing right now.
Yeah, well, I'm in the midst still of this. I think it's an over 50 city book tour now, and I'm leaving again tomorrow on the road. And I just think it's so critical that we build up a movement that says no to this war. More and more evidence has been coming out about how the U.S. stopped negotiations that were happening in the early stages of the war, where it could have ended, where a solution could have been founded. And now it just wants to bleed Russia. And we're giving over $100 billion that could be used in reinforcing government programs that are so needed at home and addressing the climate crisis, and instead pouring that money into an unwinnable war in Ukraine. So that's the key thing that I'm working on right now, and hope that more and more people get involved to actually do something about this. And they can join us at peaceinukraine.org. Thanks for having me on, Katie. Nice to be with you all.
Thanks for joining.
Yes.
Bye, Medea.
Thanks, Medea.
Well, thank you guys all so much for coming on. This has been great.
Pleasure. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Make
thanks for
sure
having
you
us.
check out all these people's websites, and we'll put the links to them. And like the stream. Make sure you subscribe. I didn't do my usual pitch because we just ran into the State of the Union at the beginning, but please subscribe, please like, rate, and review the podcast. Become Patreon supporters if you can at patreon.com/The Katie Halper Show. Again, that's patreon.com/The Katie Halper Show. Had a great Patreon-only interview with Christian Parenti about diversity being an elite ideology of the ruling class, which is very controversial, but people really liked it. Also, Gabor Mate is on the Patreon for that. And I will I thank you all to the people who are saying nice things in the chat. And I will see you next week.
Okay, calm down. You got rivers, man. You got rivers, man. Okay, calm down.